Hello there and welcome to another exciting edition of your favorite all-women talk show, Sister Sister, on, of course, your favorite station, 97.3 City FM and City TV. My name is Jessica, proud to be the one to take you through it. Of course, this is a relationship talk show that addresses all the issues that happen live in your relationships. And so if you have something you'd like to share, something you'd like to bring to our attention, something that seems rather off or on, that you'd like us to talk about or weigh in on, this is the platform for you. There are various ways that you can interact with us, and I'll share them with you right after this. And you're welcome back. So, as I was saying before that little stint, there are various ways that you can interact with us. First, you can send an email to jessica@cityfmonline.com or send a WhatsApp to 054-998-6996. That's the number you have to remember, and everybody's privacy is assured. That being said, you can also join our growing Facebook community. I think just last week we reached 5,000 followers, and we're really excited about that. My sisters are excited as well. So yeah, keep joining the community. We have some really nice things lined up for you, especially ahead of Christmas. So watch out for it. Just search for Sister Sister Live on Facebook. Let's say hello to the ladies. Tina, Olivia, Rosina. What's going on, ladies? You guys okay?
Yeah.
Nice.
You?
I'm all right.
You look
Can't
beautiful.
complain. Rosie rode to work. She rode to the set today. She brought her bike, a really nice bike.
I'm still in my birthday mood.
I know.
Yeah.
How did your birthday go? It was good?
Oh.
Hey, we saw all the.
I know.
Yeah, you had a lot of fun with roses and surprises.
I know.
I didn't know your husband was so romantic.
Yeah, she didn't even know.
Okay. Now I need to render an apology.
Hey.
To my gamma.
Hey!
Because he's romantic.
He's romantic. Tell you, Charlie, surprises upon surprises.
I know.
It was a good one, was it?
I was really surprised.
Yeah.
And the day before he asked me, have you ever been really surprised in your life? And I'm like, he knew what he was up to.
He knew what he was up to.
He knew it.
I hope you guys found it.
Yeah, I know
nicely.
exactly what I was about to ask.
Olivia, when you called me, what did I tell you?
You're about to.
I said we're doing chandelier.
Hey.
So slow down.
Okay.
It's enough.
How about Les Coussons?
Everyone is fine.
Good.
Thank you.
Good.
Everyone is fine. Everyone is good.
All right. Good to know. Tina?
I'm hungry.
Yeah. You already ate too much.
I know. I'm even practicing how to sit, but
It's all good. Good to see you. You okay?
Good to see. Yes, I'm fine.
Nice. We'll go right into action if you're ready, ladies. Starting with a very interesting message from Prince in Obuasi. Draw closer to your sets. So, says Jess, this is a bit of an interesting situation, but hopefully you make meaning out of it. 5 years ago, I got married to the love of my life. She's an only child brought up by a single parent. Her dad didn't really marry her mom, and so she never met her father. We were so in love, we couldn't wait to start a family. However, as fate would have it, 5 years into the marriage, we have no child. We've tried every medical advice possible, everything, but it's not working. My mother-in-law, who was obviously worried after several attempts, prescribed some herbs which is supposed to make my wife's womb strong and fertile. She said her aunt recommended it to her, suggesting that it's a powerful fertility option. However, 2 weeks into taking the concoction, my wife started bleeding profusely. The whole thing started as a joke, but it became really serious. She got admitted to the doctors and they said she had ruptured her womb because the concoction was too strong. They said it was going to be difficult for her to have children. I was devastated. My wife was angry, and this was hard on my in-law as she felt guilty. In her bid to right her wrongs, she decided, and we all agreed, to have a child from me so her daughter will be appeased. Sincerely, I didn't think through this properly. I was desperate for a child, same as my wife. We relocated to Obuasi to stay in my late brother's house as we needed to be far away from people who knew us. I started sleeping with my mother-in-law with permission from my wife. My wife had become not interested in sex and intimacy anymore. I think she just gave up on everything and had become really bitter. My mother-in-law is in her late 40s, but sex was amazing with her. After about 6 months of consistent encounters, she's pregnant. The doctor confirmed this a few weeks ago. Now my home is on fire. Mother and child are at each other's throat. They keep quarreling and raining insults on each other. My wife has all of a sudden become violent and perpetually bitter. I'm confused because we all agreed to this, and I fulfilled my side of the bargain by not sleeping with any woman outside my home. Now my wife wants the pregnancy aborted, and she wants her mother to leave the house. This is going to be my first and only child. I don't want to lose this baby, but I love my wife too. What do I do? It's really confusing. Ladies, over to you.
I think on it has so many levels to speak about. You realize that when people are in love and they get married and they're expecting a child, sometimes all sorts of questions come into mind and worry comes into mind when they are not giving birth. And they resolve to so many things like pastas, concoctions, so many things. And it's easy to sit here and say that don't be anxious, that it's God that gives children. So when it's not coming, just trust. But actually, that is what it is. Children are a gift. It's not everybody that has that gift to, actually give birth. And as painful as it is, it's some of the trials and temptations that we go through in life. And sometimes as couples, when you go through that, it's depending on how you deal with it, it makes the bond stronger. So I would have hoped, or maybe just to people who are going through the same situation, maybe you should exercise patience. Adoption is an option. Maybe you should also, surrogate mothers are also an option, because when the person is a surrogate, there's no emotional connection. The person is not in the family. It's a distant person, Artificial insemination is an option if you wanted your mother-in-law to also give birth. You don't necessarily have to have sex with a woman to achieve that.
Exactly.
You see, because now once sex is also, it's a whole process. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to kiss the person, touch, fondle, do all those things before you get on with it. But if it was artificial insemination, you can just get right to it, just put it in the woman and then she carries the child. That's surrogacy as well. So for me, I would say that patience is the key for other people. Now getting to the matter itself, now the woman is pregnant and the lady says, I don't want the child anymore. I'm fighting my mother. I don't want this. She's been disappointed on so many things. She can't give birth. Her womb is ruptured by the same mother that's like she was trusting. And now that same mother has slept with her husband. That same mother is having something that she cannot have. She's going through so much stress. I would say, and I may be wrong, but I would say that this is not your only chance to give birth. If she doesn't want the child, back off. I would say. You can adopt. You can do so many things to get a child. You didn't have to go through that process. If you love your wife and you say you didn't think through the process well, she probably also didn't think through the process well. So the two of you have made a big mistake. You need to speak to her, tell her that, listen, if you abort this baby, that's it. you'll have to look for other alternatives. So if she wants to think about it, but the longer she takes, the longer the woman also, goes through that. So, yeah, maybe sometimes going through that would bring peace to your home. For me, I would say that if she wants it aborted, and that's what definitely she wants.
All right, Olivia.
This one there is hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. For me, at no point in time, no matter how difficult situations are, should you defile your marriage bed. Your marriage bed is sacred. That's what brings both of you together. Not even Saint Paul or Saint Joseph or Saint whoever is good enough to be entertained within your marriage space, and especially your bed. It's too much happening, too many problems, a lot of things that have already happened. Your question is, what do you do? My thing is, clearly, the mother-in-law is not considering the happiness of her daughter. Yes, maybe she had good intentions, but the very moment that she decided to sleep with her son-in-law, for me, she got it all wrong. She should be the one to say, I'm sorry, my daughter, this is what you're going through. Let's pray through with this IVF. Let's do other options, but to sleep with your husband. And right now, there's contention. First and foremost, you don't even know who your father is. You haven't grown up around a father figure. Clearly, she's a single mother who's had to go through a lot to bring you up. You've looked up to her up until this very minute, and clearly there's a bone of contention. She's gotten to enjoy your husband. She's fighting with you because of your husband. She's not respecting the fact that you're married and this is your marriage, your marriage home. Like she's not up for any of that. My thing is, I wouldn't advise that you abort the baby because you will be killing. I just feel bad for the baby who's coming, because what kind of life is the baby going to have? For me, get your mother, this guy who sent this message, get this woman out of your marital home. Get her out of your space. Get her out of your marriage. Find somewhere for her. Let her go have the baby. There's no way you should entertain both of them at the same time.
Space, yeah.
Right now, the problem is here. You love your wife. That's what you said, right? If you love your wife, this is time to try and solve everything. This is the time whereby you speak to her, you try and console her, you try and give her hope, but get her mother out of the house, get her mother out of your marriage, and try to take the problem head on. There's so much. Right now, I don't even know where you're going to start from, because she's shattered. She doesn't even have a womb to start with. There's a lot of things that are going wrong. Right now, she needs hope. She needs counseling. She needs to know that all is not lost. And it all lies on you to try as much as possible to correct the wrongs. But get the woman out of the house. Let her have the baby wherever. The girl needs time to process all of this. Yes, under pressure, she would agree because she's desperate to have a child. You see, it's one thing the woman agreeing to have a child and giving the two of them space. Right now, she's competing for space in the marriage. She's probably wanting to cook. She's wanting to... The girl feels helpless. Get your mother-in-law out of the house. What was the aim with which she came into this whole thing? To make a baby for them. Right. Yeah, so get her out of the house, make the baby, and see if the girl would even want to entertain the baby. But right now, the girl doesn't need her mother in the house or around.
Hi, Rosie.
I've been thinking for a long time over it. Sometimes wrap my head around it. You see, the first thing that should have occurred to them was surrogacy.
Yes.
And I think the mother could have carried his sperm and her eggs fused together and put into her to carry. Because her issue was not about her production of eggs. I think her issue has to do basically with her womb and rupture of the womb and everything. It doesn't really affect the ovaries and what it's producing. So if the ovaries are still intact, everything is still intact, I mean, just pay a little more, go to the hospital, have them do the artificial insemination thingy in your mother. Then your mother can be a surrogate. Now, if that happens, I'm sure the lady will be filled with so much gratitude that your mother at plus 50 or in her late 40s has given her body to carry your child, as in my child, me and my husband's child. It works out perfectly. But you see, the man also says something that caught my attention, that even though the woman is in her late 40s, she's very good in bed.
Yeah.
You see, and the thing is that the moment
escaped me.
And the moment the man said she's very good in bed, it means that after every episode or during the episode, if the wife even comes to the door to tete and hear, what she hears is not
I'm helping you.
I'm helping you. I'm helping you sound effects. It is I'm enjoying it. I'm giving you a time of your life sound effects. And she's probably thinking that I've never gotten my husband to get to that level before.
Right. She's checked out as well.
And she is, that's how come she's checked out of the whole episode. Yeah. Or you finish, and because of the way the lady is so good, you put your energy into it. When you go back into your marital bed, first thing you do is to sleep. You probably don't even hold your wife because you are content. Now, when you do things like that, what it means is that the lady is not putting two and two together. Now, maybe, and another thing too is that the option for her mother to carry came from their mother. Came from the lady's mother.
I mean,
The lady's mother was one who suggested it, and then the child agreed. And under the circumstance that Olivia was talking about, that she didn't really know her father, her mother is the person that she's looked up to. Anything from her mother sounds like good counsel.
Right.
So she would opt for it out of emotional, I don't use the word blackmail, but emotional something. I say it's my mom. She won't suggest anything that's bad.
That's why when they give her the medicine,
she didn't took in the first place. Yeah. Then you as the man of the house, the level-headed man, will be the one to say, "Hey, Akosia, nah, I'm not. This is not the best. Let's go to the hospital. She can carry it for us, but let's do this." But for you to agree, so you were just waiting for the mother-in-law to suggest so you can also jump onto bed. And
he said he didn't think about it.
And you said you were doing it consistently for 6 months. And my thing is that, look, if you're going to do try with your mother-in-law,
you don't need 6 months.
After, let her get her cycle. If the first time you attempt, it doesn't go, babes,
you wait till another cycle.
We done the first time. It didn't go, so we won't do it again. Let's try the medical route. Or let's try surrogacy. Let her carry for us. But you go through all that process
consistently for 6 months.
Yes, and now you say consistent means that you are just
after right now. Is he just
whether it's that she's fertile or not?
No, Rosina.
No, she's still pregnant. They're still having sex then, or did she have sex for 6 months?
Consistently before she got pregnant after the 6 months. And I'm saying that the whole process, this lady has to live with the torture of knowing that my husband and my mother are in the next room. Yes. My husband and mother are in the next room. He probably has to wait, come back and go like, "Oh, Happy, how was it?"
Jesus
it was okay. Meanwhile, you know very well that he enjoyed it. His attitude towards your mother will change. Because once he has enjoyed that act with your mother, there's going to be some level of fondness when he meets your mother.
Yeah.
I don't. Are you going to call her mommy? Or are you going to call her ma? Or are you going to call her, hey? You know, how are you going to call your mother-in-law now? You see, so that means the level of familiarity in the house and everything. It's a whole psychological package. Look, trust you me. The child that's going to come, for me, I'm not an authority.
Your stepbrother, though.
I'm not an authority to say that abort or don't abort. I mean, I'm not here to say that. But that child coming is not that of your wives. It's that of you and the woman's mother. It's a sign of infidelity. That child coming is a sign of infidelity right under your nose. Now, even if the child is born and you bring the child to live with you because you think this child is my son, what's going to happen is that your wife will never love the child like her child. She would never.
And that child
is that child is her sibling.
Yes, brother.
It's a sister or brother by her husband. I mean, it's so complicated because you see, when you are desperate, you can agree to all kinds of things. But when the desperation goes down and you begin to think, things that looked exciting when you were desperate, they no longer look exciting anymore. So it's a very difficult situation to find yourself in. And I think that thinking that this is my son, my only son, is selfish. because you have the ability to have children. You, as you say
Exactly.
there, it's a selfish thought, it's a selfish move. I think that at this point in time, your wife's feelings should be considered. It's not just about you. Both of you have made the mistake already. Let's not complicate issues by being selfish, because finally you have somebody that is of you. What if it was the other way around, where you couldn't give birth and then your wife had a baby with your father? And maybe you agree to it, and then later
You realize
when
you
your
had made a
father,
mistake.
you meet together, your father looks at your wife and go like, Charlie, Charlie, tough girl. Oh."
Charlie, can you
And you
imagine?
have to accept that child. How would you feel? I don't think you'd be all cool and rosy about it. So sometimes when things happen, it's good to flip the coin, flip the situations. What if it was me? How would you react? And that should guide you as to how you would react. Because I wouldn't want to clearly say, abort the child. Because that human being coming, maybe there's a good reason why that human being is coming on the planet.
Right.
But don't expect your wife to want to have anything to do with that baby.
Yeah.
And don't expect your wife to have any form of meaningful relationship with the mother.
Or you.
At least not yet.
Yeah.
Or even with you. If your wife decides to file for a divorce, don't be too surprised. So this is a situation where you need to accept all the things that have happened, put them in perspective, look at the varied options that were available that you didn't take as a man. Because sometimes you think that paying a bit of money to go to this medical process are expensive, but this is way more
worth it,
expensive.
yeah.
So
True.
sometimes
In
when
the
you're
end.
not having a child, as much as it's not a given to have a child immediately get married, because we are all very different. I know a couple who stayed for 9 years before the child came. Yeah,
15
and the child
years,
came after 9 years, and it came through normal. There was no medical procedure, nothing. It came through normal after 9 years. So which means that there's nothing really impossible. So the thing is that, look, you should have just taken your time. Or if you're in a hurry, look at some of these other options before you. Charlie, the
Jump
physical
into-
intimacy, it was too...
Messes things up.
It's too close. It's too close.
Truthfully, I don't know how this guy or even the girl in question can live with themselves, you know, like knowing that your husband's been with your mother, like nobody else but your mom. And for even your mom to suggest that. And the fact that they slept together, like they had sex.
6 months.
I mean, it's just sick to me. I can't wrap my mind around it. But I think you ladies have dealt with it well enough. We have actually some messages, some comments on this particular story. Frida says, why didn't they opt for a surrogate, which would have been better, or adoption? What was the intent of the mother? Well, the harm has already been done. I guess the best thing for them to do is to allow her mom to have the child, which I know for sure will sort of release a little tension in the house. Then they can think of sending her mom away, and then perhaps also go for adoption. This lady will never love this child, and if she decides to force her mother to abort this unborn child too, the man will go crazy. Ranstina said, what about artificial insemination? So the mother carries the baby, then you having sex with her mother, and the mom, the mature one, agreed to that? Shaking
She suggested
my
it.
head. Dorcas says, your mother-in-law from beginning wanted you, but didn't know how. This whole barren thing was orchestrated by her. To top it up, she destroyed the daughter in order to execute her agenda, which is getting you to sleep with her. The devil has no shame. And now there's pregnancy. What at all were you thinking? Our elders will say, Okwa waria bisa. Who knows? The Bible didn't say mark time, but flee from the devil. Pray for forgiveness. As for this pregnancy, I don't know mpo. So she thinks the mother-in-law orchestrated it.
from it. Which could be
That's what we're saying, that the suggestion came from her.
Yeah.
So that's what I would think. And I won't be
That
surprised.
she wanted her daughter's husband all along?
No, but the
along.
thing is that I won't
It's
be
possible.
Look, listen,
Anything's
if I were the daughter, now that the thing has cleared, I'll probably think that they were probably having an affair before
Behind me.
giving the suggestion.
Yeah.
So they just wanted a way to legalize it.
Possibly.
Because how can you say she's good at it? And
Charlie.
that statement...
Yeah, there's a problem with that statement. Anyway, Lauren says, my brother, you're in big trouble, oh. You'll never know peace till you die because you took a bad decision to sleep with your in-law in the first place. To deal with this, divorce your wife and let your mother-in-law leave the house. Also, marry another woman, but look after your baby. Your wife should never have agreed to such an idea. Elijah says, killing is wrong and shouldn't be an option at all. But the thing is that bringing up a child by her own mother, who spoiled her womb and made it all worse, though she thought she was trying to help, would forever be a thorn in her flesh. The decision was taken out of desperation, and no one would make such a decision in their right senses. The aftermath surely is regret and deep hate towards the old lady and the newborn child. In the near future, this old lady will automatically become a rival instead of the helper she intended to be.
True.
Ella says, because the lady was depressed and bitter, she didn't think through what the man proposed, and that's why she agreed to it. Now reality sets in where her mom gets pregnant for her husband. As for the baby, it has to come, and the lady should undergo some form of therapy and seek medical attention to make her better. A couple of comments there. Don't forget your comments are also welcome on 054-998-6996. Let's know what you think about our first story today. We'll go for a quick commercial break. When we return, a lot more stories. And you are welcome back to Sister Sister on City TV and 97.3 City FM. First message has us shook, but yeah, it's all good. We, of course, shared our opinions on how we thought this individual should deal with the matter. That being said, we have another one here, and it says, I'm a lady of 21 years, and I've been single for almost 4 years now due to religious reasons. But I'm working with my boss that stares at my breasts and my hips. He keeps telling me I'm nice, but trust me, I hate it. Should I tell him about it? And how do I go about it?
Recently, I saw a video. I kid you not. I saw a video on social media. So this girl also was going through the same problem, and she hired a detective, somebody to come record. And the detective called the mom, the boy's mom, to come and take a look at it. So the boy's mom goes like, no, she raised a good boy. Her son would never do something like this. It's impossible. So here they are videoing in the car. And then the girl is at work, minding her own business, doing her stuff. So the girl goes over, she's shelving some envelopes. So the guy sits right behind her, and he's staring at her bum the whole time. So he goes like, oh, come, I need you to do this for me. And the girl goes and then comes, and then she goes to sit down. Cut a long story short, right? He's staring at her bum. He's staring at her bum. He's been texting her, oh, I can't wait to touch your bum. I can't wait to touch you. You look so amazing. Basically, he wants to sleep with her, and the girl is so irritated. So the girl leaves her desk, goes over to maybe the washroom or something, and the guy moves from his desk, comes over, sniffs the girl's chair she was sitting on.
That's just gross.
That was so gross. And his mom was sitting there watching. And his mom freaked out, got out of the recording car, came out. She's like, I saw what you just did. I saw what you just did. Go sniff the chair. You're perfect. I didn't raise you like that. You should do that. Find the recording, record this guy, and let's, I don't know, show the video to HR or something. But definitely what you need is proof. Guys, they shouldn't be doing that. Every time I go on about how women are always having to struggle for everything. We're always having to struggle. Growing up, puberty, you're doing your period. You have to grow up. You have to look nice. You have to wear heels. Recently, I saw some guy try to wear heels. He couldn't rock wearing heels. Like women, and we have to have kids. We have to breastfeed. We have to, give us a break. We just want to work and work in peace. The fact that we look good, the fact that we're curvaceous, we've got breasts, we've got hips, we've got bums, doesn't give you the right to take advantage of us.
Drool all over us.
Or to walk all over us. The fact that we're fine, we know we're fine. We don't want you to, take advantage of us. So yeah, definitely. Find a way to let him know. I would suggest that you let HR know. Get somebody who can actually get him or document his text message. You need evidence.
Oh, but if he's not sending him,
you never know. It might migrate. If you don't get text messages, just find an opportunity whereby he's trying to hold your bum and you've got it recorded, or you need evidence. Once you have evidence, you can do whatever you want. And you can bring him down. Girl power, girls. Don't let guys take advantage of you. They have no right to do that. Yeah, speak up.
All right. Just so for me, these things are very daunting. Sometimes it's like there's someone who is on your case. He doesn't verbally say things to you. He doesn't come on to you as
overtly.
Like thank you, or sends you messages or anything. But when he sees you, he stares into your soul. Yeah. You know those people. Like, he hasn't said anything to you, but he's looking at you. He's looking at your breasts. You know that he's looking at you in a bad way.
You.
Like that's the exact word. Yeah. They undress you with their look.
You know it, but you cannot say it. You have no evidence. You have nothing to, and those are the very, very sad parts, like for us as women. Like, we go through this on a daily basis. Your colleague, your boss, your whatever. And for me, Olivia has narrated a story, but the reality on the ground most of the time, you cannot get a camera and go and put it wherever in. So this is what I will say, that it's very difficult to be rude to your boss unless you have an option of another job. And then you just speak and go. Try not to be in his presence.
Sometimes it's hard.
I know, I'm just saying options. Try not to be in his presence too much. That's one. Two, maybe you should politely tell him that
it makes you uncomfortable.
The way you look at me sometimes makes me feel uncomfortable. And when you do that, and he's one of those people that say, what did I do? Like, he comes across, then you know that, then you know that this guy knows what he's doing, but he will deny it any day if, just to know the kind of person he is. Just respectfully tell him that it makes you feel uncomfortable and see how he reacts. Once he reacts in a certain way, then you should be taking steps to either let someone in on it or something, but you need to make your intentions known. And then reporting, for me, reporting without evidence is a bit, it can be dicey.
Yeah.
Because right now, if you go to HR and say that my boss is looking at me in a certain way, how does he look at you? He stares into my soul. I feel uncomfortable. Okay, how? He or she cannot work with just that. So it's dicey. So for what I'll say is just tell your boss, see how it goes, and then we can strategize from there.
All right, Rosie.
Like, when it comes to our society, ideally, once a lady goes to HR and says, I feel harassed, you should be taken seriously. You don't need the evidence. Because on hindsight, sometimes taking the evidence could be like, so you intentionally seduced him. Why were you wearing what you were wearing? Why did you have your back facing him? Because you were expecting him to do that, and you planted the camera to do X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z. But I know that there are companies in Ghana that take it seriously. So far as the woman reports, they kind of like, take action, or either warn the gentleman that, look, you're not supposed to do X, Y, Z. But aside from the reporting and everything, I've had something like that where the guy, anytime he saw me, in fact, there was a day he shook me and then he did that thing. And as soon as he did it, what I did was that I just kind of like left my hands and I just left. And it was almost as though I gave it no importance. You see, sometimes when these people are doing these things, they expect a reaction to start a conversation, to move it to the next level. So what I did was I just left. I made sure I never encountered him. Or anytime I encountered him, when he was looking at me, I just pretend like I was dumb. Like somebody who didn't know the meaning of what he was doing. I totally just ignored him. Because you see, sometimes when you go like, I don't like the way you're looking, like, how am I looking at you?
Yeah.
It starts a whole conversation. Then it puts you in another conversation bracket other than professional.
Right.
Because if you're in a situation where you know that reporting may not do you any justice, you know that the job means a lot to you, sometimes the best thing to do is to play dumb. I've had somebody told me that, why are you so stiff in the office? I've had somebody made that statement that you're so stiff. Meanwhile, I've made up my mind that I don't want anybody to tell me that I slept with anybody. Never. It will never happen. I want to get where I want to get to on merit. If the climb has to be slow, let it be slow. Gradually, you get there. You understand? If somebody chooses to use another route, that's their own concern. But when it comes to those things, I just play dumb. And it's just not in the office. So it can happen in different circles. Yeah. Just play dumb, as if you don't know. As if you're not even getting the clue. You're not getting the hints. Just play dumb. Just play clueless. Just play whatever. But just be cautious. Like Tina said, don't find yourself caught up with him alone in certain places when you can avoid it. And even if you can't avoid it, just make sure you get a few more colleagues to be with you, so that you will never be in a situation where it's just you and him. Because if it gets out of hand, if the edge is too strong, he might move it from just talking and saying and complimenting to actually raping you. Right. So as much as possible, don't be caught in the same environment with him. Just you and him. Don't do extra office hours. I want to take you out for dinner, then you also go. My boss says we should go for a dinner. No, you shouldn't do such things. But as much as possible, just block him out. As if you're in a I mean, that's for this stage. But ideally, every office should have an HR policy against harassment of these kinds. And the moment somebody opens their mouth and say, I feel harassed, they should put a bit of weight on it. Absolutely. Because most of them, you can't get proof. And sometimes, if you really want to get proof, there may be damage done just to get the proof. And even with that, they might accuse you for instigating the other party in order to get that proof. So I think more institutions should rather move to listening to their employees when they say something isn't right.
Tina, I have to tell you something off air. Remind me about this finger scratching thing. Ew. Trust. I'll tell you ladies too. So I can't say it here. Really? For coded reasons. But you know something? I think it's very important that first people identify what kind of organization you work in. Because some people or some organizations, the HR is helpless. And has no say really on how things pan out. And so if you go and disclose something like that, you might end up losing your job. Even without. But if you're lucky enough to be in some of these companies, maybe multinational companies, etc., that actually take these things seriously and it's properly structured, then you're good. All you need to do really is go to HR and report. But I do agree with the fact that they need evidence. I mean, that one, you have to find evidence some way. I mean, I'm not saying go and be instigated, right? I'm just saying that while you're interacting with this person, maybe one day they'll send you some inappropriate message and hold on to things like that because you never know. And I think that's a way to go where this is concerned. So we'll leave that there, but remind me.
Yes. I've written it.
Anyway, so it's Sister on City TV and 97.3 City FM. Another message here for Olivia. When I finish reading, you'll know why. It's about sex. Says, hi sisters, I have a question and I don't know what to do. I'm in a relationship with a man who works hard, has good intentions for us, wants us to get married soon. He's been in touch with my parents concerning his intentions of getting married to me. My problem is he wants us to have sex, and I feel like as a Christian, I will not engage in sex before marriage, although I have had sex before. We're planning on getting married by the first quarter of next year. I've told him about waiting, but it seems to fall on deaf ears. He's a Christian as well and fears God. What do I do?
Doesn't fear anything.
It doesn't fear anything. I know.
On paper, he does.
Oh, Charlie.
Don't drop your
I am a young God-fearing male of 26 looking for another God-fearing.
You remember that? But, don't allow anybody to make you feel as though what you believe in is not important. And for somebody who is looking to marry you, if he doesn't cherish your values as a person and he doesn't respect that, I'm sorry, it's a no-go area. Like, he's not considerate of how you feel. And for me, I feel it's very selfish of him. It's not like you haven't made your intentions clear. You've told him this is what you believe in and this is what you want to do. Ideally, he should be... I'm not expecting him to be like, you're going to wait, so I'm enthused. Sometimes any guy who will be like, okay, we'll wait, and he's not actually forthcoming is a bit suspicious. But it's okay for them to understand and know that this is where you're at, and to be able to want to go on the journey with you.
Right.
Plus, it's not like you've decided to abstain forever. You've decided to abstain because of X, Y, and Z. After you get married, he can have sex any day, any time, whenever he wants to with you. See, if he loves you enough, he will wait. That's where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
You see, if he loves you, how you think, he's in love with how you think. He's in love with the fact that and I love the fact that you've told all of us that it's not like you haven't had sex before. It's not like you're pretending to be something that you're not.
Right.
You've decided to have a different
kind of
approach
relationship,
to
yeah.
Exactly. And this is who you are. Don't make him make you think or make you do something contrary to who you really are. Listen, my dear, I feel like sometimes marriage is just overrated. People are getting married for all the wrong reasons. Everybody wants to get married because you go on Facebook, everybody's getting married. Everybody, my biological clock is ticking. No, life is not a race. Listen, you might end up marrying this person, right? Even the fact that you want to keep yourself in, it means nothing to him until he can't wait. You might end up marrying this person and he wouldn't appreciate whatever values you have. Like, he doesn't care. Maybe you have plans for what the kind of school your children should go to, and maybe you have a vision, you have a goal as to what you
want to go back to school at some point.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And if he can't appreciate this little aspect of you as a human being, as somebody that he loves, I'm sorry. So okay, tell him that tell him, I still don't want to have sex until I've gotten married. See his reaction. If he thinks that he doesn't want to wait, let him walk. For me, let him walk. He doesn't love you enough to wait. A man who really loves you will wait. Sex, what is sex? Sex is great. I wouldn't sit here and say, oh, Charlie, sex is amazing. But you want to have it, and you want to have it legally, and you would enjoy it. Because trust me, today, if you succumb and you do it, you'll get up, you'll feel dirty, you'll feel guilty, you'll be like, what have I done? And you never know. He could probably be using this whole I'll marry you thing as
Just
a bait to sleep with you. And then what do? You lose everything. Listen. Oh, more pressure your day.
Don't drop your knickers.
Don't drop the knickers.
And
keep them on. Hey, you'll find a guy here. He'll love you. He'll be. Rosina was telling us the last time about some guy who got married to his wife. Ben Chale. He was very happy finally when he actually got to do it with his wife because his wife waited. That's men who are there who will hold you like Charlie. This is my prized possession.
Yeah.
Let him be proud of who you are. Let him love you irrespective. And then you know that it's not just about what you look or what you can give to him, but he just loves you for who you are, your mind, your body, your soul. He's in for you.
Thank you,
Wow.
sister.
I think she should do like a T-shirt that says "Don't drop your knickers."
I'll do one for you.
I think
on your next birthday.
I think you should do. Anyway, so for me, I would say that the attitude or your beliefs or whatever you start with in a relationship, that's what you carry through, and it does not get any better. It only gets firmer, So if you always say, "Oh, he insulted me," but it's not anything. When we get married, it will be okay. It gets worse. Little things that you overlook and you accommodate. It always gets worse when you get married. So I would say that not even in the front of just sex that you have said that you want to abstain till marriage. I mean, it cuts across so many things. It doesn't hold. Like, if he can't respect your decision, this is a decision that you have made. This is a conviction that you have that, oh, listen, I don't want to do this. I mean, every other thing maybe I can compromise on, or maybe these are the few things that I would like to keep secret before our marriage. If he cannot respect that, then it means that you are in danger of losing yourself in the marriage. Every time, if he says, "Oh no, I can't wait. Oh no, we can't do this. Oh no, I insist we do this," then it means that all your desires or all of who you are will be lost in the soup. So this is what I think. I think that you should sit him down again and let him know that this is one of the things that matter to you. I agree with Olivia, you should also take into consideration other things that you have brought on board as a person, like what your convictions are. And if he hasn't taken all your convictions into consideration, you outline them and let him know that, listen, relationship is compromise. It's sacrifice. It's love. So if you can't do this for me, or you can't do this one thing for me, then I would step back gently. I would. Sometimes when you say that, he
knows the weight you place on it.
the gravity of the situation. So I think you should have that conversation. Let him know that it matters to you and you're not going to compromise on it.
All right.
And that's it.
Rosie.
Okay, the year is about to end. You're getting married in the first quarter of next year. If my understanding of quarter is correct, it means within the first 3 months, by March of 2020.
Right.
It means you have under 6 months to get married. My question is that what's the rush? You see, the moment you're almost getting there, I think that the man should be so excited, because in the next 6 months, he's going to have his new wife to himself. I don't know why you are rushing. And the thing is that if the man claims that he is God-fearing Christian, I think the lady should use that to remind him of what should be, should mean a lot to him.
Right.
And if he has a problem, like Tina said, you see, if it is the thing about sex is that at all levels, it should be your choice. When it is your choice, if something happens, you don't blame anybody so much, you own it. But the moment you are doing it because you want to make somebody happy, you are doing it because you think he deserves it, you are doing it because, you think, when something goes wrong, then the pain of giving yourself out becomes very enormous. So for us, it is not your choice, it is your principle. Stick to your principle. Do not drop those knickers. The marriage date is 9. It means that you probably just started counseling right about now, so you are seeing the thing ahead. Charlie, what is this whole issue about, And if he says that, okay, if you don't drop the knickers, I'm not going to, just say, okay, I love you so much, I would hate to lose you, but I don't think, and I think that if you stand your grounds, he would have a certain level of respect for you that a man has for a virgin when he gets married to a virgin. Because you know that, yes, even though you have dropped it before, you have resolved to be a secondary virgin and you stuck to your grounds there. So in future, he will not see you with any guy and think that, you and this guy are doing something. You have a different level of respect for you. So I think that once it is your principle that you don't want to do this before you get married, stick to it. He will get angry, he might throw a bit of tantrum here and there, but in the end, he would appreciate you for it. And if this is the reason why he wants out of the marriage, I think that it's a hard thing to say because we are not in it with you. You'll probably be waiting for this day. I think you should just say, okay, I will not do it. And see where he stands. And if he says, okay, I'm sorry, I probably was just testing to see how, chaste you are, you can laugh about it. Or maybe if he says, okay, fine, he thinks about it, he comes back, he still wants you, then that's a good thing. But otherwise, then it means that this guy is going to be an autocratic something in your marriage. So
and this thing about people claiming to be God-fearing, people don't go out there shouting saying I'm God-fearing. You see it in their actions, and clearly this is not it.
All right, we'll go for a commercial break. It's Sister on City TV and 97.3 City FM. We'll be right back. All right, so you're welcome back to Sister Sister on City TV and 97.3 City FM. Remember, your comments are welcome to 054-998-6996. You can also join us on Facebook. Search for Sister Sister Live, like the page, and drop a message in our DM. Or better yet, send an email to jessica@cityfmonline.com. We'll have a last message here because I'm looking at the clock and I know we don't have too much time. But this one says, "Hi sisters, I've been dating her for the past 2 years. We promised not to get intimate until marriage, but we got intimate so often that she got pregnant. She has already aborted once in a previous relationship, and my conscience hurts about doing or performing another abortion. But I can't also go through the whole societal criticism thing. What do you ladies think I should do?"
Okay.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Oh yes, 2 minutes.
let me just say this. So sometimes you can go through life thinking that you care about what people say because you've pegged yourself at a certain pedestal that everybody sort of looks up to you or thinks that you are some caliber of person, and so you let them down and whatever. I tell you that this life, it is you and your God and whoever you are in a relationship with. Thing is, the girl is pregnant now. It could be the only child that she will have after. It could be the only chance at you having a child. You don't know. I would say that it is difficult to accept sometimes that this is the situation and facing parents, society, etc. But think about you and the girl. Think about your relationship. And if you're going to get married, are they going to get married?
Yes.
Yes. If you're going to get married, that's also something that you're not in a bad space. Quicken the process. See the families. Do everything together. That child can be brought to life without you having to spoil anything. The family support would also be something that would be good for you. So you're not too bad. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Livy.
Okay, so to add to what Tina said, I won't condone premarital sex, but if you must have sex, please use a condom. That's all I'm saying. No, I'm just saying for advice for people out there.
Okay.
Because then she wouldn't have gotten pregnant, and then now, Yeah. But having said that, like T said, it's not a lost cause. You love her, she loves you. You had fantastic time. There's a baby there. What do? Quicken the process. Go get married and have a nice life. Yeah, people do enjoy your life. The quicker the and if you're probably worried about, you probably wanted a grand wedding, you probably wanted something, and you can't afford it right now, both of you need to come together and compromise, agree to disagree. Say, okay, right now this is a situation. You're worried about the whole shame thing for you, So decide, okay, I wanted to spend 10 million on this wedding, but right now I can't. This is what I can do. Let's do knocking. Let's do this. Get the basics right. Yep. Sort it out. Go to the registry, sign. Do it on the quiet. If the girl understands, in the next future, do the grand thing. And life still goes on.
I like that.
Yeah, basically that's it. Yeah. I mean, you see, the society thing, the same people who will be talking like, this guy, I thought he was like this girl, I thought they were, and they did. In the next 2-3 years, they'll be loving their child who will be coming to your house and be carrying the baby. Oh, see how cute he or she is and all of that. So I think that forget what society thinks. We're all born as individuals. We all have our own paths to charter, our own things to do. I mean, you can put two people in the same circumstance, brought up the same way, they'll still turn out different. So what society has couched up for you may not necessarily be what you are going to be. Right. And like everybody else is saying, you see the whole idea of marriage, and sometimes we look at it like it has to be some very... The most important thing is the traditional marriage. So once the parents agree, even today as we speak, you can go and see the families, you can do the knocking, and you can do a small engagement, just the family, and then when you finish, you just need 21 days. Right. And after 21 days, you go and sign at the registry. And the societal shame is no more there because legally the child came whilst you were married. Then after 2-3 years, after you bought a few diapers and your financial are okay, then you can do some big blessing and that's it. I mean, the abortion thing, unless you didn't want a woman.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you love the
forget it.
Well, unfortunately, we're at the end of the show, but thank you guys very much for your audience. We'll be back same time next week on your favorite TV station and, of course, radio station as well. Don't forget, like I said, you can send an email ahead of time every week to jessica@cityfmonline.com. Rosina, Olivia, Tina, thanks for coming through.
Thank you.
Back
Thanks
same
for
time
having
next
us.
week.